We went on another family road trip to Scotland. We stopped off on the way overnight in a town called Brampton near Carlisle. This was near Hadrian's Wall. So we decided to visit Hadrian's Wall in a couple of locations. The first location was at the Bank's East Fort, which was quite close to Brampton. Then we went to Birdoswald Roman Fort. We stopped off in Carlisle before heading up to Scotland. Once in Scotland, we stopped at North Queensferry South Bay to look at the Forth Railway Bridge and the Old Forth Road Bridge. It's a really beautiful location with views across the Firth of Forth, and it's about 9 miles from Edinburgh and is in Fife. There's even a little lighthouse with a really narrow spiral staircase. And then we headed up to Inverness and we stayed in North Kessock, which had amazing views across the Beauly Firth and the Moray Firth. We then took a trip into Inverness City, which is an amazing historical city. We took a walk along the River Ness to Inverness Botanic Gardens. The next day we went to Cawdor Castle. They even had some Highland cows in the fields close by. Cawdor Castle is a 15th century castle and it's owned by the Calder family. It was then passed on to the Campbells in the 16th century. The castle is still lived in today by the Dowager Countess Angelica. The name Cawdor links to Shakespeare's play Macbeth. We then went for a walk around the gardens. We then went to Culloden, where the Battle of Culloden took place in 1746 between the Jacobites and the government of the time. It was then back to North Kessock for one final night before heading to Fort William. Stopped off in Loch Ness to see if we could find Monster Steve, but apparently he was out at a business meeting. Then we stopped off at the Falls of Foyers. We then had lunch in Fort Augustus, which is at the most southern point of Loch Ness, and it's where the Caledonian Canal flows into Loch Ness. We then arrived in Spean Bridge, where we'll be staying. It's quite close to Fort William, and we're staying in this amazing Airbnb. It's really modern and spacious. It's obviously been designed by an interior designer. We were visited each day by the resident goats.
Oh, I love them. I wonder if we'd had the door open, whether they would have walked. The goats came in. Yeah.
And there is even swallows nesting by the front door. A short walk away, there's some amazing views of the hills. This is at 11 o'clock at night, and it's still partially light.
I thought it was a bit of a precarious place to park.
And then we went off to Glenfinnan to see the viaduct. This is used in a lot of the Harry Potter films. There's lots of Harry Potter fans here that come to visit. The viaduct's an amazing concrete structure, and it's built in 1897. We waited at the west viewing point to see the Jacobite steam train, which was coming from Fort William on its way to Mallaig. And it even looks like someone's proposed whilst watching the steam train pass by. This is Glenfinnan Monument, which has amazing views of Loch Shiel. We then watched the steam train come back again from Mallaig, but we weren't as close this time. The next day we took a train from Spean Bridge Station to Carlisle Station. There are some amazing views of lochs and hills on the way to Carlisle. Carlisle railway station is one of the most remote stations in the UK, and you can't get here by car. We had something to eat in the station restaurant, which is a really nice bistro restaurant, and then went for a hike up Ben Nalap, which is a Munro that overlooks Loch Ocean.
I just do get cramp quite easily. Yeah.
As we walked up, we looked back and you could see amazing views of Carlisle Station and Loch Ocean Youth Hostel. Me and my brother did this exact same walk back in 1982 when we stayed at Loch Ocean Youth Hostel with my dad. It was the first Monro I climbed back in 1982. We made it to the top and you can see some amazing views. Once we were down, we went to have a look at Loch Ocean Youth Hostel for nostalgic reasons, and we got to top up our water bottles while we were there too. Each morning we were woken up by the sound of bagpipes by my brother and his son. Then we took a drive to Mallaig, which has a really picturesque harbour, and it's on the west coast of the Highlands of Scotland, just across from the Isle of Skye. We had a bite to eat and then headed off on a boat trip to see wildlife. Not guaranteed, of course. It was a 1-hour cruise and you could see the Isle of Skye, Rum and Eeg. We did actually see dolphins.
this way. Have they come? Oh, wow.
We saw some birds and some lazy seals. And then back to Mallaig to see the steam train. And then on the final day, one last look at this amazing property we stayed in. We stopped off on the way in Warrington near Manchester on the way back to Surrey. That's the end of our trip to Scotland in 2025. Until the next time.